talked about before, this is are pterodactyls dangerous, almost carried away? Let's get right into this. We'll start with a sighting by Alex Salinas quite a few years ago in eastern Texas, Weslaco, Texas, about 1998. In his sighting, he mentioned to me something that caught my attention. He said that about 2 or 3 months before his sighting, there was a small child that went missing in his area. A girl about 4 years old, more or less, that went missing in that area. He'd be concerned. We need to talk about this concept of missing. Modern pterodactyls attacking people in the United States, now, like in the 21st century, yeah, well, it's rare, but unfortunately.
And my two cousins, they're like my brothers, my best friends. We used to go fishing like every Friday night and stay overnight. Now we're back in 1984, and I'm 24 years old at the time. So to see our line, we used to get a tire, and we used to light a tire on fire, and we're fishing like 5 feet apart, and just waiting for a catfish bite, and this black shadow goes past us, and we looked at each other and said, "What was that?" And I don't know. All of a sudden, that black shadow comes straight down on top of us, very prehistoric. The only thing I can tell you is that it was a pterodactyl and it was nothing else. Me and my other cousin, we were like looking at it, and it come down on top of us. So we had our fishing rods, 70-foot fishing rods, and we started whacking at it. And it would come down and try to pick us up with its talons. Yeah, what it would do, it would come up to like 15, 20 foot, just out of the reach of our ugly stick, and just hover there flat. And then it would come down, and when it came down, it would open its claws up and try to come and pick us up. And when it came down at us, we would hit it, and we would hit it like the lower body and at its feet. That's the closest I could hit that thing with my cousin. But this thing would be stuck. I mean,
yeah.
To say that it was relentless, it came down at us at least a dozen.
With Rhode Island, this was it was October 2001 when this eyewitness had this sighting. And she contacted me by email a few years later. I think it was 2004, and she told me that this in Bristol, Rhode Island, and she mentioned that this huge pterodactyl was just circling her house. She was outside at the time, and as it circled, it started getting lower, and around the last time it circled that she was watching it, she noticed it seemed to be watching her, and she got right into the house. She contacted me, said she looked in the newspapers for days, hoping that somebody else would report it, but no, nothing in the newspapers. This is common. I would call that a contemplated attack, perhaps. The animal might have thought about it. There was no attempted attack. Now, what about this other situation here? This is the general area of the mainland of Papua New Guinea, where there was a dangerous encounter, fatal encounter for one person, and that was related to me by an explorer who's still anonymous. But this is in Bitoi village in the Bitoi Valley. Then this one was an old man was working his garden. He was sick at the time, on the mainland of Papua New Guinea again. And this man was attacked. He was alone at least the beginning of the attack, alone. The flying creature grabbed him and carried him up in the air and dropped him, and picked him up, carried him up and dropped him again. And finally, the third time it grabbed him, carried him up in a tree. The villagers in the area came to see what was going on. By the time many of them got there, the flying creature had the poor old man up in a tree and was making a meal out of him. We've also been through this attack. This is named a core. The core, I believe, is either the same species as the ropen, which lives to the south, or it's very similar, very large. This particular case, we've covered this in another video. It's called the Pterodactyl Attack, I believe. It's the most watched video on this channel. The fisherman fought with the creature and was eventually, they both were so many injuries that the animal died, and the man was found by some other natives in the area. They tried to take care of him, but within a few days he died also. So it was fatal to the fighting that was involved. Frank Sicilia and his two cousins were fishing. This is many years ago. How do men fishing in the USA relate to that native? Both that native and the Americans were trying to catch fish, and in both cases they were attacked, and in both cases it may have been a pterosaur, and both times the attack lasted a long time, and both times the animal risked injury or death, and the animal continued attacking. Why? Both encounters can be explained in the following way. A large flying creature was trying to protect its fishing territory. Now we're going to get into Oklahoma, western Oklahoma. This many years ago. I got directly from the eyewitness herself when she was an adult, and she told me when she was about I don't know if she was 5 years old or something like that. Before she was able to go to school. She was not old enough to go to school. And it was in the morning when her brothers and sisters had gone off on the school bus, and she saw them off and went back. And as she was going back toward the house, around a place where the chicken coop was, she was attacked by this huge flying creature. She said it was the size of a Volkswagen bug, covered in hair, had teeth in its beak, flew down trying to grab her. She ducked down to the ground, hit the ground, and escaped, and it made a noise and went and flew off, and she ran to the house very quickly. But these are things I'm very concerned about, because even though they're rare, it's the same area where there are other children have gone missing. And this lady, she told me that there have been other children that gone missing in that part of Oklahoma. I'm really concerned about this.